Alright, hey guys, welcome to your next video. It's Mr. Browse. This one's on determining which inequality is true. So oftentimes you're just given a problem like you see right here where it says if x equals -6, which inequality is true? So you're going to have to plug that -6 into A, B, C, and D to make sure, or to see which one is actually correct. So there's 3 steps. Go ahead and make sure you do write down the essential question objective up here. And the steps are plug in the given value for each inequality, so that's each answer choice, and then solve using GEMDAS, and then determine if the inequality is true. So there will be, on this one it says if x equals -6, which inequality is true? That means only one of these will be true. So if you're solving and you get 2 of them are true, then one of them that you did was incorrect. So let's see which one it would be. If you need to pause the video to write all that stuff down, go ahead and do so, okay? Okay, so we're going to start solving. So I'm going to plug this number in. So this right here is the number that I'm going to plug in. That's the given value, okay? So this is the number that they're saying, let's say x equals -6, so which inequality would be true? So I'm going to rewrite the little equation here with, or the inequality with this number in it. So I'm going to do -5 minus 3 times -6. So when you put in that x, you need to put it in a parentheses, okay? Is greater than 10. So essentially what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to solve using GEMDAS. Remember that when we use GEMDAS, we multiply first, right? So we do grouping symbols first, which here's a grouping symbol. But technically there's no math to be done inside the grouping symbol, so we move to exponents, no exponents, and we got multiply or divide. So this is multiply. Although it does not have a multiply sign, you need to know that a parentheses means multiply, okay? And so what we've got here is we've got a -3 and a -6. That's what we're multiplying together, okay? So when you multiply a -3 times a -6, that's a negative times a negative. All right, a lot of you learned the pyramid, right? And so if you did a negative times a negative, that's going to equal a positive. So that's going to be a positive 18, right? So now you have -5 plus 18 is greater than 10, okay? So now you just keep solving on this left side. So we've got -5 plus 18. So that's a positive and a negative, same signs add and keep, different signs subtract, right? So those are different signs, so we're going to subtract them. So 18 minus 5 is 13. And now we have to say, is 13 greater than 10? Yes, it absolutely is. So that's a good answer choice for us. Now we're going to make sure the rest are not true, because if we get another one that is true, then we may have done something wrong here. All right, so -3 minus 5x is less than -14. Again, you're going to use this -6 right here, and we're going to rewrite the inequality again. -3 minus 5, and then this goes in where the x is, okay? And remember, put it in a parentheses. Times -6 is less than -14. Again, we're going to solve this one first. So we have a -5 and a -6, okay? So -5 times -6 is positive 30. So we're going to do this again. Remember this? Pen's running out of ink. This one here. So we're going to do that again, okay? So we've got -5 times -6 is a positive 30. All right, we're going to rewrite the rest of it down here. All right, so we got -3 plus 30 is less than -14. So again, same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. So these are different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. And we all know that 30 minus 3 would be 27. Okay, so then is 27 less than 14 or -14? No, 27 is way greater than -14. So that one's not going to work for us. And now we've got 1 minus 2x is greater than 13. So again, we're going to rewrite the equation, or the inequality rather. 1 minus 2, plug in that -6 where x is greater than 13. So now it looks like 1 minus 2 times -6 is greater than 13. And some of you may be thinking like, well, Mr. Browse, when you're solving this part of it, that's a minus sign, not a negative sign. Well, you need to think of them as the same thing because they essentially have the same properties when you're solving an equation or inequality like this, because you have a -2 and a -6. You can think of a minus sign and a negative sign exactly the same, especially when you're doing algebra work. So -2 times -6. So that's a negative times a negative. We're going to go over here again and look. That's a negative times a negative. That's a positive. Okay, so that's a positive 12. And so this one may trick some people here, okay? Because you got 1 plus 12 is greater than 13. So what it ends up looking like is 13 is greater than 13. And some of you may say, yeah, that works. But is 13 greater than 13? No. 13 is the exact same. It equals 13, right? So if we had that little line under there that was greater than or equal to, then we'd be gravy. But that doesn't work right now. So 13 is not greater than 13. On to the last one. So far we're looking good on A. We got 2 minus -6 is less than -3. So this one gets a little tricky too, because you don't have a number behind this negative sign or the subtraction sign right here. There's no number, all right? So what you have to do is you have to look at this as a -1, okay? Because what you're essentially doing is multiplying this negative times this -6. So what's that actually going to do? Just turn it into a big old positive. Because, as we remember from this again, a negative times a negative is a positive. So that would be 2 plus 6 is less than -3. And so that would be 8. And is 8 less than -3? No. And if you get confused on whether 8 is less than -3, at the beginning of all this, when you start solving these, just draw a big number line. That usually helps you guys out. So if you draw a big number line, you're able to see that 8 is greater than -3 because it goes more towards the right. The -3 is on the left of the number line, okay? All right, go ahead and make sure you had all this down, and we'll see you guys in class.